Thailand, Indonesia, and of course, the Philippines, just to name a few. She also became the first chair of the MDRT MCC Ambassador Program that is in charge of providing resource speakers to local MDRT organizations all over the globe. She strongly believed that the industry in general and MDRT in particular has changed her life, and that's why she's always willing to give back. In MDRT, she has served as the zone chair for Hong Kong and Macau and as the region chair for Hong Kong, Macau, Taiwan, and China. If you combine these four countries, they have the most number of MDRT qualifiers around the world. She has also served as one of the 2021 MDRT Global Conference PDC for Focus Session Captain, as well as the PGA as an Assistant Director for the PGA during the Vancouver and Orlando annual meeting. This is where I had the pleasure of first meeting Annie, and we became very close friends afterwards. She has also served in the MDRT Foundation as a Global Task Force Committee member. Ladies and gentlemen, from AIA Hong Kong, a lady of substance and a very good personal friend, Miss Annie Leung Molin.
Hey, hi, Dodo.
Hi, Annie.
Hi.
I'll just introduce the second. Our second MDRT global leader joined the industry in 2006 and was promoted as an agency leader in 2008. He is a 12th time MDRT qualifying and life member since 2010 with 3 court-of-the-table qualifications and 2 top-of-the-table qualifications. He is a consistent ACAR Diamond awardee since 2010, an advisor awardee since 2010, and an International Dragon awardee since 2010 as well. He is an Insurance Agent of the Year finalist in the 3rd Asia Trusted Life Agent and Advisors Award in 2018, held in Manila. That is a region-wide contest across the industry in the entire region, and he is one of the finalists. He is an AIA MDRT ambassador for several years before becoming an AIA Global Ambassador and an AIA Senior Master Trainer. He is also part of the MDRT Global Ambassador Program and often represented the organization as a resource speaker in MDRT events held in different countries. He is also the co-chair of the MDRT Foundation MDRT Gives Day this year for 2021. As PGA is part of his DNA, he has served in various capacities in both the global conference as well as an annual meeting since he became active in 2014. That's where I first met him. He is currently a second-year MDRT annual meeting PGA chair, and believe me, is well on his way to serve as PGA's first divisional vice president from Malaysia and AAA agent in Asia. He'll be the first AIA agent to serve as a DVP for the PGA. He is a renowned speaker, having shared his expertise in various facets of the industry in countries like Malaysia, Vietnam, Dubai, Philippines, Singapore, Cambodia, Taiwan, Indonesia, China, Hong Kong, South Korea, and the US. He is the co-author of 2 books, The Mindset Playbook and Malaysia Big Deals, and the author of the book Simplicity. Ladies and gentlemen, my good friend from AIA Malaysia, Tian Jong Lu.
Hi everyone. Hi, good afternoon.
Mike, back
Thank
to
you,
you.
Dodo. Thank you, Dodo.
Hi,
Annie
Tian.
and Tian Jong. Did I pronounce it correctly? I hope I did.
You can just say Tien. Tien is fine.
Tien, all right. Annie and Tien, thank you very much for giving us your time. We're grateful for the up close and personal opportunity for each one of us to have this afternoon. I hope you had an idea earlier of the profile of the people who are here, and probably this may sound like a question which has been asked of you so many times, but we just would want to relate with you. We'd like to find out how did you start in this business? Maybe Annie can go ahead, please.
Oh wow, that was like donkey years ago, huh? So So yeah, I need 5 days to talk about that.
We wouldn't mind. We wouldn't mind.
Well, looking back like 26 years ago, how did I start it? I think it's really funny that a lot of people they join the industry is because they have went through like hell in life, and then they kind of like, oh, I have no direction, and suddenly this angel of like an insurance agent will come and say, hey, why don't you join us? That's basically similar that I had a big problem in life. Probably somebody have heard my story. Um, so I was actually literally broke. I didn't even have like money for a can of Coke. My father had cancer. Well, anything you can think of. All disaster happened in my life. Like and I'm a single parent. Like financially broke. Everything has gone wrong in life, and then I was like looking for like opportunities because I don't want to compromise like to work for a job and then kind of get a salary and then just 9 to 5 job, go home, take care of my kid, and that's it. It just deep down in me that I think I can do more than that. So I started my own business, but yet it was okay. But then for like doing your own business, of course there's a lot of expenses, there's a lot of pressure, and there's a lot of challenges. It's not so simple. And then when somebody came to me one day to my shop and said, hey, why don't you um, work as an insurance agent? And the way she described to me was really funny that she said, would you like to start something that you have absolutely 100% flexible time and no limit in income? You can do anything you want, and it's just basically no expenses. I thought that was a fraud. I thought, it cannot happen like that. But it's actually true. And I thought, since I have nothing to lose, why don't I give it a go? And then I found out, so when I joined the industry I just worked so hard. I have absolutely no idea what insurance is, what the financial industry was, because I was a designer. Apart from the measurement on the body, I have no idea what figures are. Forget about financial planning. Absolutely no idea. So that's how I started, and I joined, and it was like 26 years ago. Oh my God, yes.
Did I hear it right, Annie? 26 years ago?
Yes, I started when I was 3.
High five on that, Annie.
Yeah.
High five on that.
Yes. Yes, that's how I
Thanks for
started.
sharing, Annie. How about Tien?
Um, I think what Annie said was really interesting because so I joined the industry when I was back in 2006. Not as long as Annie, but it also seemed like a long time ago. So I was in America for a long time. I was in LA for about 10 years. I came back to Malaysia in 2001. And at that time, I told myself if I want to come back to Malaysia, I want to be staying where I'm from. So I'm not from Kuala Lumpur. I'm from a very small town. Well, not a very small town. I'm from a town called Kuching, which is on the East Malaysia side on the Borneo Island. So anyhow, long story short, I came back, 2001, and easy to get a job. I was able to get a job really, really quickly. So I worked for a private college for about 2.5 years. Then I switched to a different job, helping my mom and her business for about a year. So after that, I find that I need to go back and do other things. So, but my mistake was that I quit my mom's business before I find a new job. So back in 2006, I was unemployed for about 8 months. Yeah, beginning of 2006, I was unemployed for 8 months. So I didn't think it was so hard to get a job. And I'm still refusing to go to a bigger city like Singapore or Kuala Lumpur. I still want to stay in Kuching. And so one day, I was talking to a friend and who was a MDRT member at that time in the industry. So she was just like, you want to give it a try? And I figure, I got nothing better to do. So, I just said yes. So so I still remember very, very clearly that I met up with her on a Wednesday, had an interview with my district manager on a Friday, and then the following Monday I start as a full-time agent. So I joined really, really quickly because truly I got nothing. I have no money. I mean, thank God I was still living with my mom, so expenses is very low, but still, I figure, it cannot be like what else, like because my mom has actually asked me to join insurance when I first came back to Malaysia. My mom loves insurance. Like she's one of those people that will buy insurance from everyone and anyone. So when I came back to Malaysia, she was like, "Why don't you join insurance?" And I don't want to do sales, so I refused. But 5 years later, I end up joining, the industry. Then I realized that insurance, is actually, I mean, yes, we are selling policy, but then it's really about communication. It's about building relationship. So those are the things that I'm good at. I realize those are the things that I'm good at. Selling things, I still, sometimes I still get really, frustrated if I need to go and meet a client. But I do really enjoy the building relationship part and also the communication part. Yeah, so it was very easy, and then I did really well the first 2 months. So I contract October 1st, so did October, November, did really well, and I took December off. I remember that. So my boss was telling me, you see, what a wonderful life you have. I'm like, yes, indeed, I have a very wonderful life. Back to you.
I'm sure Tian and Annie would like to thank the people who approached them, because if it were not for them, you wouldn't be here today and you wouldn't be as happy as you are now.
Yes.
No money. I think that comment is something that's common, that was shared by both of you. Would it be correct in assuming that perhaps it was the opportunity of having more, um, that is one of the things that interested you to try out this business? But this next question, at what point did you feel when you can tell yourself that it's about more than the money? It's not about the money anymore, but perhaps doing which you are all good at, no, at right now. At what point did you were you able to tell yourself that statement or something to that extent? Annie, please.
Um, well, I must admit that as a no, I mean not everybody started when they were poor and to be successful. Otherwise, you guys can all give me all your money, and then you make MDRT, right? So I think the first, well, I say the first 2 years, um, I worked 100% for money. Well, maybe I wasn't as lucky as Tian. I didn't have any support, and because I was a single parent. So, and my dad has problems, and my family has family issue, financial issue. I guess I have no choice other than just switch off my mind and just talk to everybody that I've met without even knowing what objections they are throwing to me, because I don't hear any objections, whatever it is. I will go on with my selling script or whatever. So the first 2 years, I think I made like 9 appointments a day, consecutively. I mean, every day for 2 years. I think I had no Christmas, no holidays, no nothing. I mean, that was so bad, because that time the policy, well, I think Tian wasn't even born then, right? 26 years ago. The policies, Tian, I'd love to meet you in person very soon. I love this guy, honestly. I've worked with him, a couple of times. But that time the policies was very small. I mean that wasn't any investment linked product. There's no like big premium, big commission. So my policy is like, I think like $50 a month or something like that. So I have to work like crazy to make. I didn't even know what MDRT was. Just focusing on making commission. And then, of course, I mean, naturally, I meet MDRT for the first year until now. And I think up to the third year, if I say, then financially, I'm quite okay, good. Starting to be very stable, have extra income, have extra money for my family, can think of myself, like back to myself to think. And then I'm thinking, why am I working so hard? If I work so hard for money, then it's not what I wanted. So that time, that sudden switch on my mind is I need to do something else. Something else is, apart from selling, I want to make it a more meaningful industry, a more meaningful career, so I can actually share more with people. So that time, and that time wasn't many MDRT in the company. So And actually, like Dodo said, MDRT really have saved my life and make me a better direction, because otherwise I'll be so money minded, which I don't think I'm that kind of person. Um, it's all because of MDRT, because I went to the MDRT annual meeting not knowing anybody that time, because I didn't talk to any agents because I was so busy. I had no time to talk to agents. I had only time to talk to clients or prospects. So I went to this MDRT and I saw all these like posters, and I see all this. I didn't know what PGA was, but there was a lot of volunteer, and it was so nice to me. And I was talking to speakers, and they taught me so many things that I didn't even think of. And suddenly it's like going into another world. It's like, hey, this is like a money game, taking care of my family, everything. And suddenly I go fly to Chicago for my first meeting, and I was in this world, and everybody is giving. And these people are rich. To be honest, they are like their TOT, tag is like down to the floor. And I'm just thinking, what are they doing? And they're just like a little PGA serving me, a new member, and they're like 40 years MDRT members. And I'm just kind of like, so this actually wakened me a lot. And that's when I start serving. And that changes me completely in the industry. Yes.
Got it, Annie. So what made a big impact is your very first attendance to the MDRT
Yes.
convention. Would
Yes.
that be correct, please?
100%. Yes, 100%.
That's right. And maybe we can help expound on the MDRT convention a little later. I'll park it for now. But I'd like to go back to Tien. How about you, Tien? At what point were you able to tell yourself that there's more to it than just the earnings that is present in the career?
Oh yeah, I find it actually. I think it's really interesting that you asked this question because I always tell like when we do study groups, when we do mentor-mentee, we always share with the newer agent, the first year, the second year MDRT members that they will go through their career and they will see MDRT or they will see their career very differently. So how they feel right now when they join the first year, second year MDRT, they're gonna be. I mean, they will have different mindset looking at MDRT when they hit number 6, let's say, or eventually when they hit number 12, or when they turn to a certain age. So I'm always sharing that with a lot of the younger agents so that they understand that it is a journey, and then things change. It's okay to change, and I must say that I never had the kind of financial, pressure that Annie felt because, as we all know, for any one of you that have been to Hong Kong, Hong Kong is the expensive. Well, if it's not the, it's one of the expensive place to live on this earth. Okay, no money in Hong Kong is a very very tough thing. It's very tough. It's not even funny tough. It's very very tough. So I live in a very small city. I can get by honestly if I really really want to, maybe with 500 USD or a month if I really really want to. Okay, I just move back to my mom's house. Have a bit of money here and there. But Hong Kong is a different story. So I'm very happy not to be in the kind of situation where I felt pressure. But then it was really good because after coming off about 8 months of not making any income, so the money is good. But then, so the moment I joined the industry, I've always known that people in the industry, if you work hard, if you do the right thing, you make good income. I know that. I've seen it. So when I joined, it kind of is. Like my income in the first 2 months sort of like double of what I made previously. So income is always a part of. I would say in the first maybe like 2-3 years, you focus a bit more. But then after a while, the income will always be there because you start realizing that the things that you do day in, day out, if you just do the things that you're supposed to do, the income will continue to come in. So you no longer focus on that, but you focus on other things. Like for me, the first year was about joining the industry and enjoying the industry, and the second year was about the same as well, my personal sales. The third year was about recruitment, trying to build a team so I can be promoted, that sort of thing. MDRT did not even come into my mind really until about year number 4 in 2009. So that was the first year when I really, really thought about MDRT. Again, going back to coming from a small place, I don't need a lot of money to survive. So when I'm making more money than I need to, so people talk about MDRT, it never meant anything to me because it just seems so far away. So I achieved my first MDRT in 2009, and then in 2010 I went to my first annual meeting in Vancouver. Like what Annie said earlier, I was overwhelmed because you have like, you thought you're MDRT, right? So you have like about 10,000 of them in one little hall. The Vancouver convention center is not very big. Okay, there's so many of them, and unlike Annie, I actually do not like to socialize with people that I don't know. But let's say, eventually I met Dodo. So every time when I see Dodo now, we always work together. Of course we talk, but then if I do not know Dodo, I will not talk to him. Let's say, I'm not one of those like Annie will go and talk to other people, I won't. I very much prefer to just disappear. But the bad thing of doing that is that um you never have anything to fall back on. So the first year was really, really overwhelmed. I had no idea what I was doing. It was just so much. And I didn't really enjoy MDR. So I sort of like, so MDRT become a thing that you just do, but not knowing why you are doing it. Okay, and I think it was when I joined PGA. It's actually in 2016 though, no, not 2014. In 2016, by chance actually, I wasn't planning to join PGA, but I was in LA before I went to Vancouver in 2016, and one of the assistant director for PGA wrote on his Facebook, desperately looking for volunteer in Vancouver. I was just like, so when I read his message, I was like, oh, this guy sounds really desperate. So I answered his Facebook. I was like, oh, I can help you. And I asked, two of my friends that are coming with me to help him as well. So that's how I got involved with PGA. And then the whole perception of MDRT changed because MDRT from that point onwards, annual meeting from that point onward becomes something that's fun, becomes something that I look forward to. And before I would go, more because I can go travel, not because I'm looking forward to the annual meeting. But now it's like when I go, I don't want to do anything else but be in the annual meeting until it finishes. It's about the friendship that you make. It's about the fellowship that you make. It's about the experiencing. I mean, the experience that you gain, the knowledge that you gain. It's about telling you that you need to be humble because the world is so much bigger. So I think so now it's about really enjoying it and and see how I can help MDRT. Whenever MDRT needs help. So yeah,
You
so
know
that's my
what?
answer.
You know what? I'm just really curious about what the MDRT convention can do for you. And of course, all of them who are here today are MDRT qualifiers. And for their benefit, probably, this is one topic which I'd like to expound on during the next few minutes that we have. Um, of course, when would be the next convention? Because if that's the effect that the MDRT convention had on you, most especially for those of them here who have not attended it yet, I would want to encourage them highly because seeing the joy that you have, I'm sure they would have the same kind of joy. Um, when would be the next convention? Where will it be? And I heard about the PGA. Probably some of them have not heard about the PGA yet. Can we ask you about these things so that we get to appreciate them more? Any one of you can start sharing, please.
The
Um,
next, the
go-
next one is going to be June 26th in Boston. 26, 27, 28, 29. The next annual meeting, and then I
Mhm.
think global conference will be in Sydney,
and
late
August.
August, 28, 29, 30th, and 31st. Yeah.
That would be for 2022. And thanks, Ian. Annie, what would the PGA be? Uh, I've heard those before, but maybe you can help us understand it more.
Sure. Well, my first PGA was actually really funny because I didn't know this, and then I went to the annual meeting, and one of my friend or colleague said, "Oh, do you want to help?" I said, "Help what? I mean, I come to learn. I don't come to help. I have no time to help because I want to sit in the audience." He said, "No, you be the audience as well." But I said, "I don't want to run around because I want to focus on the speakers, right?" And anyway, she said, "Oh, can you please help and then get up tomorrow at 6 o'clock, 5:30, I think it was, and help." I said, "You gotta be crazy. I mean, I need to have more energy." so that I can listen. I don't want to fall asleep. But anyway, the next morning, I mean, the alarm woke me up. It's kind of like, it's really funny. I don't know about Tian, but you kind of like somebody approach you something, you say, oh, no, no, no. But in your heart, you say, okay, 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 and then you kind of like, and your reaction is like following the yes. It's really funny. It's kind of like you're talking to yourself. So I got up and I went, and I was so amazed because there were so many people queuing at the entrance of the convention hall and like having their coffee or like a slice of bread or something and waiting to sit at the front. And I didn't know what I was doing, but anyway, she was like, I was following her, and she's like, oh, why don't you help this and this and this? So I think the first time I did that PJ was really funny, that I got this position, which I said, no, you got to be kidding, I'm not doing this. And she said, can you stand near the toilets, like the washroom, and just guide the people where to go? I said, I'm not going to stand in front of the washroom. Come on, this is crazy. I'm an MDRT, right? And then and that was really a blessing because the position that I was standing there, many people has to go to washroom. And the queue was so long and everybody was talking. And that's how they don't run away. So that's how I asked so many people questions. Oh, and then I see their tag, and then how did you become TOT and all that. I think that that position as a washroom guard or something you call it, actually has changed a lot. So the PGA actually, we don't ask what job is given, what role is given to you. You just go there and be a volunteer, and they will assign you something. I think I've heard people say, oh, I don't want to do this because I want to be at the main platform. I want to do this. I want to serve this. I don't know whether TN has heard about this. And that was actually me. I didn't want to stand in front of the washroom. That was like this. But I tell you what, if you guys have a chance to go to the convention, click online when you apply, when you enroll, just click the PGA and just don't ask what they're giving you, because whatever they give you is the best in life. Because you're gonna meet so many people, and then every year you just continues to do PGA. And after that, I realized that the PGA actually was watched by like kind of like Dodo, like people like them, and to give you points. But I didn't know that. And then how the next year they ask you again because they see that you're really involved and you're really committed and you're doing quite a good job, and then again they give you another position. So that's how I get so involved, because I think there's no one year that I didn't receive emails for invitation. It's not only because I'm trying my best, it's because I think first of all we need a lot of volunteers. Second of all, we need to have mentorship, like Dodo has been really teaching me like how to be a good PGA. Honestly, thanks to Dodo, and guiding me on different areas, and how to, the main thing about PGA, and to be the getting what we call promoted. I don't want to use that word, how do I say it, but you level up on different chairs, and that is because we want to build leaders in MDRT. That's the main thing. It's not about just serving, taking whatever. It's helping, and that's how we learn the skill to have, like Chi just now, sharing, to help them. I would say, if you go to the convention, please just click for the PGA. Just click in there. It will make a big difference in life. Yes.
Annie, I was trying to picture based on your description on how what a PGA volunteer does. It's like pointing to this, pointing to that, and
Yes.
Would it be correct? That's the kind of work. But
This
you know
way,
what?
please.
Right.
But the thing is, I don't even know which way is which. But you kind of learn, it's really funny. And then this guy called, maybe Dodo, would come and say, oh, where's this? I said, oh, I'm just so sorry. I'm just a volunteer. Maybe I'll try to find out for you. And then they would just encourage you. And so, how come you don't know the way? See, it's that friendship that we built, and people start talking. They don't blame on you, but they help you for what I don't know. And that what really touches me. Yes. Thanks to
And it's
Logan.
something good to hear. I think it's something that our colleagues who are present in this lunch today would be good for them to click on that link
Definitely.
for them to volunteer. We have heard you both on what it has done to you, but I'm sure they would have their own experience also and something that they can share with their other colleagues soon. So definitely, guys, please do. We encourage you to attend the convention if it has done something a lot of good for Annie and Kian. Definitely, it will do you good also. And we will be asking you to share your story next time you get to experience what it's like to be a PGA volunteer. So now that you are, if I may call, at this stage of you being an insurance agent after having experienced what you have just shared, how is your typical day like after that experience? Can you share, please? Everyday life, in terms of doing your work, in terms of the kind of other work that you feel that you need to do also. Can we ask you to share, please, on how your typical day is like?
Tian, you go first.
Pre-pandemic or during pandemic time?
Well, it would be interesting to hear both if you can, please.
I mean, I must say that, like, I, again, Annie is here. So compared to our colleagues in Hong Kong, they are a lot more disciplined. I can just tell you in general, like, Southeast Asian, we're very relaxed, I'm coming from an island, we are even more relaxed. But my typical day, always start with our morning meeting. So our morning meeting is always about 8:30 to 9:30. So pre-pandemic, before this whole, crazy pandemic, it's always in the office. My office is very near. It's 10 minutes drive from my house. Okay. So pre-pandemic, 8:30. So now we are doing meeting through Zoom. But then next year, January 2nd onwards, we're going back to, actually, they have already gone back to the office for the morning meeting. So after the meeting, then basically then I'll catch up with my PA, my personal assistant. Then, because we have a customer, so there's a CRM software that we use. Then I'll catch up and see, what needs to be done. If there's anything I need to enter into, the system. So I'll do that. And during pandemic time, then I'll go to the gym before lunch. So I'll break for, to go to the gym, and then I'll go and pick up lunch. Then I'll come home because I still have a younger son staying with me. My older son is already in UK, so I have a younger son. He's doing foundation right now, so he's staying at home doing online, and so then we'll have lunch, and then in the afternoon, it's about seeing clients or just doing all sort of things, and then at about 6 o'clock, I'll go for a evening walk, and then I'll have dinner first. Then I'll go for evening walk. Then at night I'll watch YouTube. I'll watch Netflix and just yeah. So that's my typical day. So the chunk of so I break my work. So in the morning it's more about me getting ready, so that my PA has a direction of what she needs to do for the rest of the day. And then after lunch is basically everything else that I need to do. Because there's so much, I mean, I think earlier Dodo had also sort of mentioned, that there's so much that I do as well. So other than sales, I have a small team. I don't have a big team, so I have a small team. I have to deal with that as well. And I have work that I do for my district. I have study groups that I take care of. Then I have work that I do for MDRT. And so yeah, so going back again, so pre-pandemic and now, so next year onwards, there'll be a lot more traveling. So pre-pandemic, I'm away from where I live about 5 months out of the year, whether it's for annual meetings, speaking engagement, for whatnot. So I'm always flying around, everywhere. So I'm looking forward to next year, going back to sort of the similar routine that we had 2019 and before that, yeah. So my day is simple. Yeah.
Tian, would that routine be for how many times a week? Is it for all 5 weekdays, or would weekend also be included?
So weekends I try not to work as much because I used to work 7 days a week. So I try to. So there's a few good habit, I must say, good habit that I picked up in the last couple of years. Before, I'm one of those people where my phone never leaves me. I'm always on my phone. Because there's so much to do, as Annie will tell you. So many people that you need to reply messages. But now, at least, when I'm having, I mean, for one thing for sure, mealtime, I will not touch my phone. Yeah, so that's one thing that I have done. I have learned to do for myself because my partner was diagnosed with cancer this year. Then I started to realize that nothing in the world is actually that urgent that I must reply every single time a message comes in. Yeah. So, and my client knows. I told my client, if it's like life and death situation, you call me. Do not message me. So if I receive a phone call, I'll look at it. If I know it's not urgent, then I won't reply. And if someone call you like 3 times in a row, then it's kind of urgent, then I'll pick it up. Otherwise, so that's one good habit I must. I'm actually quite proud, that I picked up that habit. So at least, if you're having lunch or dinner for like an hour, then I won't look at my phone for that 1 hour. And yeah, I'm really proud of that. And so I try not to work so much over the weekends. But then I also start to realize that when I don't work over the weekend, I feel like I have nothing to do over the weekend. So yeah, so I try to read. Yeah, so I try to find things. I don't have I'm not one of those people that have a very set routine. I'm not one of those. It's more like okay, I have like 2 hours to kill right now. What can I do? So that is more like that. Yeah. So I've gone. I'm trying to trying to change my workaholic mindset into something that is because I'm also like stepping into like 45. I also trying to like ease into retirement, so to speak. Yeah, having an easier lifestyle in that sense. Yeah.
Thanks, Tian. No?
Yeah.
One word which I greatly picked up is the word habit, and I will be parking that word for now. Let me go
Yeah.
to Annie for now. Thanks, Tian. Annie, how about you? How's your typical day like?
Thanks, Tian. So I think I should retire 10 years ago. So I'm sorry, then I don't need to speak here anymore. I mean, as an agent, right? I speak here as a retired prospect of you, so you can come to me and sell me insurance, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, I do agree 100% with Tian about life because I would say during this 20 something years before the pandemic. Yes, I do. I must admit I worked very hard in the beginning. Well, maybe yes, he's absolutely right. I don't know how come he know Hong Kong so much. Maybe you lived here before. It's like you're one of us. Yes, we do work very hard, and it's a culture. I mean, it's just a culture. Everybody is running around for no reason. I mean, even Sundays they rush for the train. They rush for everything. I said, "Where you going?" He said, "I don't know, just meeting my family." And like, it's just a habit. I would say I work very hard, but then I think after when my daughter turned to like 10, which is like a few years after I joined, I started again. Sometimes it's good to reflect yourself and think before you keep moving on, keep rushing for I don't know what, but just sometimes like slow down, step back, and think what do you want in life, and I think I need more time with my family because at the end of the day, you work so hard for what, right? To give them a better life, to give my mom a better life because my dad passed away many years ago, and my daughter has, just me. So what do I want in life? So that time, that was Sandro Forte. You guys know about him. He literally changes my habit as well of the yellow boxes. I think you guys have heard about that. If you haven't heard, it's very simple. Is you open your calendar instead of calling your clients and they say, okay, how about 2 o'clock, and then tomorrow then you mark 2 o'clock. How about tonight 4 o'clock and you mark, and then it's just like it's not. You look at the calendar, you kind of feel sick because you just don't like it. So when you don't like your calendar, you don't like your job. You don't like your job, you don't have the passion to talk to people, right? And then you go home and say, what am I doing here? I don't want this job. And then you keep on with your job because you have a good income. And that will be a cycle. And I hated it. Money is not everything. And I think the money we have, accumulated is quite okay. So then I started to think, what yellow box? And then I bought his book. And I listened to him, and thank God, for the MDRT Gives Day, I worked with him, and I just see this person. I mean, I truly admire him. That how he make things so simple. So all you need to do is from Monday to whatever day you want to work, you put your calendar in boxes, but with no names. So when Mike called me and said, "Oh, Annie, yes, I'm okay to meet," and you put him in my calendar, in my box, not in your box. So I'm controlled, 100% controlled about my time. So I can put the time that I don't want to work and do my own things. And then when I look at the calendar, I love it because I can have time with my mom. I can go to school with my daughter, and I can learn what I want to learn. I can go like hiking, whatever it is. And if I just want 5 boxes this week, I only meet 5 people. Matters over. If I want to work hard, I control 100% of my life. So that's how I do. And during the pandemic, I had a different change of habit because you don't meet people, right? And it's actually, well, I might say everything happens for good reason, really good reason. It's not that I love pandemic. Of course, nobody loves it, but when you look at it positively, then you kind of again reflect and again think, hey, what's next? How do I enjoy this industry more? So I called my client and said, okay, because of pandemic, so now we can only do on Zoom or telephone call. And I tell you what, the amount of time that I save on traveling is massive. And believe you or not, if somebody is with me on the Facebook, and I'm actually during the pandemic, I'm doing everything that I haven't done and which I wanted to do in the past. For example, I love to go back to my piano, which I stopped for like donkey years before Tian was born. I stopped, and I keep saying that to emphasize how young you are and how senior I am. I should, think about retirement, thinking of what you said. No, I won't, because I just love MDRT. So because of the Zoom, imagine if you do like 3 Zoom meetings a day, you have a lot of time. Absolutely, a lot of time. So I can go into my piano 2-3 hours a day. I can go and have lunch with my mom. I don't need to get, fully makeup dressed. It's like kind of you put a jacket on and that's it. And underneath probably your pajamas, but nobody see it. So it's kind of like really, really good. And I started to love the way it is. And now the Hong Kong, the COVID is getting actually much better. I mean, honestly, that's no local case for ages. But everybody's still wearing masks. I agree with Tian. We are very disciplined for whatever. People still wear masks anywhere. You can hardly see anybody with no mask. So now the COVID is over. We had Zoom meeting with my agents and that. But the funny thing is the whole working habit changed because we have, like, say for example, when there's a typhoon, we don't have meetings, right? Because nobody can come to work. But now when there's a typhoon, everybody's still in a meeting because you're at home. You don't have to go out. So it's kind of maximize the time a lot, but yet save a lot of time as well, if you understand what I mean. So you kind of draw your life in like a circle, like how Sandre Tolani talk about, what's your lucky number? And you kind of like 20 to 40, 40 to 60, 60 to 80, and then you kind of think, wow, now I have so much time left because I maximize my time and I only use this little time and I make MDRT. So then kind of like, well, I don't want to say that. Can I say that, Toto? It's kind of like you're kind of retired life because you don't work a lot, but yet you are making very good income and you're enjoying so much of your life. And this is so amazing. This is so beautiful. I mean, where can you get in an industry like that? And you meet, of course, all these nice people. That's how it is. I just love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Annie.
to add on what Annie was saying, I think it's really wonderful for everyone to get to listen to someone that has been around, in the industry, 26 years MDRT. So she qualified the first year, and she has been in the industry for 26 years. I think the key is, that she just mentioned, I think it's about, I don't know about her, like I think many people are like me, eventually, like when you're in your 20s, when you're in your 30s, like most of the time you don't even feel tired. Eventually, as you get older, you do want to slow down to a certain degree. But then, I think the wonderful thing that is, before we work because we have to, now we work because we want to, because it was just so much fun. We don't know what else we're gonna have. We don't know what else we can do to find so much fun in our life. So I think that is a transition that I'm very happy to be in because I'm working. I'm still very busy. Sometimes I feel like I'm more busy than when I first joined. But then you're happy. If you're happy most of the time, doing what you want, and you can choose what you want. Because you want to do it, not because you have to. Before it's like, oh, I have no money, I must work, otherwise I don't work, no commission, I cannot live. So that was like back then. But now it's almost like you're working because you're enjoying yourself. So I think that's a major difference. And I really hope that everyone here eventually will have that experience. You work, you wake up every morning, you go to office, you come home. It's because you want to do it, not because you have to do it. So I think that is a big difference. Yeah.
I'm buying into that idea, Tien and Annie. Who wouldn't want that, right? So I'm sure, having heard you about having a balanced life, but then again, being able to continuously and consistently be an MD